SLT Mobitel Fiber, the fiber of the nation. SLT Mobitel Fiber, the fiber of the nation.
රින් වෙළඳපොලේ අඩුම මිලකට රුපියල් 180යි.
Tonight, clean money. Never before seen footage of Easter attackers' farewell message lays bare claims of outside help in Easter carnage.
In his video very clearly explains that this money is halal, meaning that he did not get any money from non-Muslims or he didn't get this money from any government. The source of finance for Zaharan Hashim is from the two sons of Ibrahim Hajiyar.
The truth is on record. Public Security Minister rubbishes allegations of intel agency links to Zaharan Hashim and labels them falsehoods intended to undermine national security. Security challenges. The President inaugurates Sri Lanka's National Defence College, charged with instilling strategic thinking in the military brass.
Possessing a thorough understanding of strategy is extremely important considering Sri Lanka's geostrategic location.
Easy does it. Expert lists out his preferred do's and don'ts on the tax front in tomorrow's budget.
Large companies are making billions of profits. The government should target those huge profits. You mustn't impose taxes on capital because it is a disincentive.
All this and much more coming up on this Thursday, the 11th of November 2021.
නැවුම් කුළුබඩු 12ක එකතුවකින් no biryani mix. Restaurant රසට බිරියානියක් දැන් ගෙදරදීම.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Shanela Fernando in your top stories for tonight. Speaking at the inauguration of the National Defence College today, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa expressed confidence that the new campus would arm the country's military, police and in some cases civil officials with professional knowledge in how to utilize strategy in facing down the challenges of Sri Lanka's geostrategic location.
The National Defence College was declared open in Kolpeti this morning by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The college was established to provide strategic education considered essential for senior officers of the Tri Forces, police and public services in key areas such as national security, statecraft, diplomacy and public policy. During the ceremony, the college's official website was also unveiled by the President. Following the inauguration, the head of state inspected the facilities at the newly refurbished Defence College building.
In the past, Sri Lanka had no option but to seek vacancies in foreign educational establishments to obtain strategic education opportunities for senior military officers. The establishment of this college, therefore, greatly increases the number of senior military officers who can receive such exposure each year. The exposure provided by the National Defence College to such officers will be essential in creating the strategic mindset essential for success in such positions. Certain courses provided by the National Defence College will also be open to senior police officers and public service officials. Possessing a thorough understanding of strategy is extremely important considering Sri Lanka's geostrategic location. This positioning provides Sri Lanka with multiple opportunities as well as challenges. Senior officers in the military as well as in the public sector should be aware of these strategic considerations as well as the government's policies and its strategies regarding them. I'm confident that those who attend this National Defence College will receive not only a deep grounding in these aspects but also improve their ability to think strategically, see the larger picture and innovate appropriately.
Big 3.
On our current affairs program at Hyde Park on AdaDerana 24 with Indivariya Muwatta tonight, we were privileged to air never-before-seen footage of the farewell message recorded by Easter attack leader Zahran Hashim and his cohorts that seem to answer a lot of questions in the public domain regarding the source of the group's funding. Speaking on the program, Professor Rohan Gunaratna of the Institute of National Security Studies explained that the footage shows Zahran clearly boasting of not having accepted a single rupee from non-believers to carry out his deadly plan. Addressing the many misconceptions regarding the issue, Professor Gunaratna says that the root cause of these allegations lies in the failure of the government to communicate important facts surrounding the investigations to the public.
Professor Rohan Gunaratna of the Institute of National Security Studies chose today to reveal previously unaired footage of East attack leader Zahran Hashim's farewell message, along with his followers on our current affairs program at Hyde Park on AdaDerana 24. In the footage, Zahran is seen providing key information regarding his source of funding for the operation, which he claims was made able by the receipt of clean money from believers of extremist ideology and not from non-believers. This has been point of contention ever since claims surfaced of alleged links between intelligence agencies and the extremist terror cell leader.
Footage that were never seen before have been uncovered. Zahran Hashim explaining in his farewell message the motivation which made the team carry out these attacks.
Inshallah, எங்களது இரத்த துளிகள், எங்களது சிதறிய மண்டை ஓடுகளால், எங்களது சதைப்பிண்டங்களால் இங்கு ஒரு விலாயத் கட்டப்படும். Khalifa Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi ஹஃபிظஹுல்லாஹ்வுடைய தேசத்திற்கு பையத் செய்கின்ற மக்கள் கூட்டம் கூட்டமாக உருவாகுவார்கள். இன்ஷாஅல்லாஹ் எங்களது முயற்சி வீணாகாது. அல்லாஹ்விற்காகவே நாங்கள் செல்கிறோம். எங்களது இந்த தாக்குதலில் கிறிஸ்தவ தேவாலயங்கள் இருக்கிறது. எதற்காக கிறிஸ்தவ தேவாலயங்களை தெரிவு செய்தோம் தெரியுமா? நியூசிலாந்தில் எங்களது மக்கள் தொழுது கொண்டிருக்கின்ற அல்லாஹ்வை வணங்குவதற்காக சென்ற அந்த மக்களை வகை தொகையின்றி கொன்றொழித்தீர்கள். அதற்கு பழிக்கு பழியாக அல்லாஹ்வுடைய ஆலயத்தில் கை வைத்த உங்களுக்கு பாடம் புகட்டுவதற்காக கிறிஸ்தவ தேவாலயங்களை வெடிக்க வைக்க வருகிறோம்.
This video, the farewell video of Zahran Hashim, filmed on the eve of the Easter Sunday attack, explicitly explains his motivation, which is religious extremism, and also how and why the method of operation of this attack. And it is consistent with the attacks we have seen globally by the radical Muslim organizations.
Big question we try to seek answers for is where Zahran got his money from.
In his video very clearly explains that this money is halal, meaning that he did not get any money from non-Muslims or he didn't get this money from any government. The source of finance for Zahran Hashim is from the two sons of Ibrahim Hajiyar, was the richest spice trader in Sri Lanka. The funding came from Copper Colossus, a company that was run by Ibrahim Hajiyar's children. Easter Sunday attack is a multinational investigation where we have the Australian Federal Police, we had the Federal Bureau of Investigations also working on this case. All their investigations very clearly shows that Zahran Hashim received this funding from Ibrahim Hajiyar's children. There's no government funding and there's no foreign government funding this attack.
In recent times, the Cardinal has been talking about the need to go international, and that is the only way we can find the truth.
Easter Sunday attack, there were 3 fact-finding reports. These reports are comprehensive, but unfortunately, the previous government and the current government has not disseminated these reports effectively to the public. Rather than having these thick reports, it is important to have a good public communications campaign so that these conspiracy theories don't emerge. As long as government is unable effectively to use media and social media to communicate these key findings, there will always be such conspiracy theories. I believe that the Cardinal should have been engaged better. Government should have kept the community and the Cardinal informed. Cardinal is seeking truth. The truth is found in the 3 fact-finding reports. In terms of justice, the trials have just started, and I believe that government should give maximum publicity to those trials.
Further, questioned on the identity of Sonic, a name that has popped up in relation to the allegations, He revealed that the individual was simply an active intelligence member gathering information on extremist groups.
Sonic is a name of an intelligence agent. And Sri Lankan intelligence services, we have two premier services. One is military intelligence, other is the state intelligence service. The state intelligence service and military intelligence produced 350 reports before the Easter attack and informed the political leaders to take action. They didn't, because national security was not a priority during the last government. Sonic is one of those agents who generated that intelligence and information.
Public Security Minister Rear Admiral Dr. Sarath Weerasekara today responded to claims in Parliament earlier this week made by Samagi Jana Balawege parliamentarian Harin Fernando, alleging links between the country's intelligence agencies and Easter attack leader Zahran Hashim. The minister labelled the allegations falsehoods and accused the MP of attempting to undermine the country's national security apparatus.
හරින් ප්‍රනාන්දු මන්ත්‍රීවරයා කියනවා සහරාන් හෂීම්ගේ බිරිඳ හාදියා කියලා තියනවලු එයාගේ ගෙදරදී බුද්ධ්‍යංශ නිලධාරීන් සහරාන්ව හමු වුණා කියා. අබ්දුල් කාදර් ෆාතිමා හාදියා කියන මේ තැනැත්තිය මේ සිද්ධිය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ප්‍රකාශ 5ක් ලබා දී තිනවා. ප්‍රකාශ 3ක් පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයෙන් පසුව සහ ප්‍රකාශ 2ක් පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරයට පෙර. ප්‍රහාරයෙන් පසු 2019 මැයි මාස 6 වෙනි දින හාදියා අම්පාරේ පොලිසියට පාපොච්චාරණයක් කර තිබෙනවා. මෙන්න තමයි ඒ පාපොච්චාරණය. මේක කිසිම තැනක හාදියා කියලා නැහැ බුද්ධ්‍යංශය ඇවිත් එයාගේ ගෙදර සහරාන්ව හමු වුණා කියලා. මම මේක සභාගත කරනවා. ඉන්පසු හාදියා 2019 මැයි මාසයේ 14 වෙනිදා CID එකට කටු උත්තරයක් දෙනවා. ඒකෙත් කිසිම තැනක සඳහන් වෙලා නැහැ ජනාධිපති කොමිසම් සභාව හාදියාගෙන් ප්‍රශ්න කළා. ඒකෙත් කිසිම තැනක බුද්ධ්‍යංශ සහරාන්ව හමු වුණා කියලා සඳහන් වෙලා නැහැ. මම අවසාන වශයෙන් කියා සිටිනවා ජාතික ආරක්ෂක සමග සෙල්ලම් කරන්න දෙන්න එපා. තමුන්නාන්සේලා බලයට පැමිණි හැම වතාවෙම බුද්ධ්‍යංශ අකර්මණ්‍ය කළා, හැල්ලු කළා, ඔවුන්ගේ චිත්ත ධෛර්යය අධෛර්ය කළා. මිලේනියම් සිටි මහා පාවාදීම අමතක කරන්න එපා. 80කට අධික සංඛ්‍යාවක් බුද්ධ නිලධාරීන් ඝාතනය වුණා. ගරුකතානකතුමනි, ජෙනරාල් සුරේෂ් සලේගරත් වචනයක් පැවසිය යුතුයි. මම ඉතා පැහැදිලිව, ඉතා ඕනකමින් අවංකව කියනවා සුරේෂ් සලේ කියන්නේ ඉතාම අවංක දක්ෂ රටට ජාතියට ඉතාම ආදරේ නිලධාරියෙක් කියා. ඔහු රාජ්‍ය බුද්ධ්‍යංශයේ ප්‍රධානියා ලෙස එදා හිටිය නම් මේ පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට හිටියා කර්නල් මුතාලිෆ්, මීඩින්, ලාෆිර් වගේ දක්ෂ දේශප්‍රේමී මුස්ලිම් නිලධාරීන්. ඒ වගේම කෙනෙක් තමයි සුරේෂ් සලේ. සමහරු කියනවා සලේ මුස්ලිම් නිසා සහරාන් සමග සම්බන්ධකමක් තිබෙන්නේ නැති කියලා. නමුත් මම සිංහලයෙක් වශයෙන් කියනවා සුරේෂ් සලේ කිසිම දවසක රට ජාතිය පාවා නොදින බව.
මේ ගැන සඳහන් කරපු නිසා පළමුවෙන්ම මිලේනියම් නගරය ගැන අයි මතක තියාගන්න ඕනේ චන්ද්‍රිකා කුමාරතුංග ජනාධිපතිවරයාත් නියෝගයක් දීලා තිබුණා නගරය ඇතුලේ තියාගන්න එපා කියලා. ආරක්ෂක නිවාස. ඒක කඩගල්ලා තමයි එදා හමුදාපති බලගල්ල ජෙනරල් බලගල්ල ඕක තිබ්බේ. මම ඔය ගැන කතා කරන්න ගියේ නෑ අද කියන්න. ඊට පස්සේ බුද්ධ්‍යංශේ ඉන්න කාටවත් වෙඩි තිබ්බේ නෑ. තොරතුරු දුන්න කීප දෙනෙක්ට හිටපොයි dead sources. එන ඔක්කොම ඉන්ක්වයර් කරලා රිපෝට් එක දාන්න බෑ. මොකද ජනාධිපතිතුමිය කිව්ව එකට විරුද්ධව ගිහින් තිබුණා. දෙවනුව ඔව් 2015 කට්ටියක් ගියා ISIS එක සමග. ඒ අය ආවෑන් පස්සේ බුද්ධ්‍යංශයෙන් ඒගොල්ලෝ පිටිපස්සේ හිටියා. ඒ කවුරුවත් මේකට සහභාගී වුණේ නැහැ. දිගන සිද්ධිය ඇතු නැද්දි මම කිව්වා එදා අධ්‍යක්ෂකතුමාට නිලන්ත ජයවර්ධනට මේ අය මොකද්ද කරේ කියලා බලන්න. ඒ අය එක්කෙනෙක්වත් මේකට සහභාගී වෙලා නැහැ. මේ වැඩ කටයුතු ගැන අපිත් කිව්වා විභාග කරන්න පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේත් පත් කරා. තේරුම්කාරක සභාවක් කොමිසමක් පත් කරා. මොකද විශේෂයෙන්ම ඉන්දියාවේ මේ තොරතුරු ලැබුණාන් පස්සේ 4 වෙනිදා ඉඳන් මොකද්ද කරේ කියන එක. එකක්වත් කිව්වේ නැහැ. තව එකක් මතක තියාගන්න අන්තිම කාලේ එකම තොරතුරයි බුද්ධ්‍යංශයට ලැබුණේ. ඒ මාවනැල්ලේ බුදු පිළිම ගැන කබීර් හෂීම් මහතුමාගේ ලේකම් දුන්නේවා විතරයි. එයාට වෙඩි තිබ්බා. කඩාවැටීමක් තිබුණා. ඒ කඩාවැටීම අපි පිළිගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කඩාවැටීම ගැන හොයන්න ඕනේ. අනාගතයක සිදු නොවෙන්නේ එච්චරයි අපි කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned.
මිලියන 18.8 නිවස ලක්ෂ 5ක් ගෙවා දැන්ම වෙන් කරවා ගන්න මල්බෙරි රෙසිඩන්ස්.
Welcome back in more news. In a bid to prevent the country from seeing another surge in COVID-19 cases, a new extraordinary gazette was issued earlier this week preventing any form of gathering sans official permission. Meanwhile, Sri Lankans hoping to travel to Korea for work received good news today from the ambassador of South Korea in Sri Lanka, who announced that the country's borders are soon to be opened.
An extraordinary gazette was issued by Minister of Health Kehelia Ramukwala on Tuesday, amending sections 2 and 3 of the Quarantine and Prevention of Diseases Ordinance. Accordingly, gatherings of any kind, small or large, can now only be held after obtaining necessary permission from the relevant authorities.
වෙනත් පුද්ගල එක්රාශී වීමක් හෝ නැත්නම් රැස්වීමක් පැවැත්වීම සඳහා අපි මේ වනතෙක් අවසර ලබා දීලා නැහැ. සීමක් හෝ ඒ පුද්ගල එක්රාශී වීමක් පිළිබඳව අපගෙන් අවසරය ලබා ගත යුතුයි. පුද්ගලයන් එකට එක්රාශී වෙනවා කියන්නේ එය මේ රෝගය පැතිරීමට තුඩු දීමට හේතුවක්. ඒක වළක්වීම තමයි මේකේ එකම අපගේ උත්සාහය. ඒ නිසා එහෙම අවශ්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා නම් ඕන් අපිට පූර්ව දැනුම් දීමකින් පූර්ව ඉල්ලීමක් අපිට කළ යුතුයි. එතකොට අපි රටේ තියෙන රෝගීන් වාර්තා වෙන තත්ත්වය, එම ප්‍රදේශීය රෝගීන් වාර්තා වෙන තත්ත්වය අනුව සලකලා බලලා අපිට ඒකට අවශ්‍යතා අපිට එහෙම රැස්වීම හෝ වෙනත් ඒකරාශීවීමකට අවස්ථාවක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් නම් අපි නිසි බලධාරියා විදිහට අපි මේ අවස්ථාව ලබා දෙනවා. නැත්නම් අපිට දෙන්න බැරි නම් අපි දෙන්න බෑ කියලා කියනවා.
On the country's vaccine front, Sri Lanka has so far vaccinated 15,837,790 people with a single dose. 13,604,891 people, meanwhile, have been completely vaccinated. However, there are many who are still due to get even a single dose. As such, the Minister of Health Kehelia Ramukwala said that the people have to bear the responsibility if another wave of the virus is unleashed on the country.
නීතිපතිතුමාට ලිව්වා ඒකට ඊයේ පිළිතුර ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. නීතිමය තත්ත්වයන් තුළ පොදු ස්ථානවලට වැක්සින් කාඩ් එක අනිවාර්ය කරනවා. වැක්සින්ස් දෙකම නැත්නම් ඒ පොදු ස්ථානවලට ඇතුල් වීමට වාරණයක් අපි ඉදිරිපත් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. දැන් බලන්න මෙවැනි තත්ත්වයක් තියෙනකොට උද්ඝෝෂණ ගැන කතා කරනවා. දහස් ගණන් එක්කාසු වෙනවා. ඉතින් යම් කිසි විදිහේ තව රැල්ලක් ගොඩ නැගුණොත් ඒ වගකීම
In the meantime, migrant workers all over the world had been restricted to travel to Korea for various employment opportunities due to the pandemic. However, Korean ambassador to Sri Lanka revealed some positive news today for Sri Lankans hoping to travel to South Korea for employment.
It gives me great pleasure to announce that the newly entering Sri Lankan migrant employees will be able to enter Korea and assume their new jobs very soon. Recently, the Korean government decided to resume the entry of new Sri Lankan workers and workers from other foreign countries to Korea in the near future. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, only re-entering migrant workers had been able to enter Korea, and the entry of new foreign workers to Korea had been restricted. However, the vaccination rate is getting high enough to accommodate the foreign workers, and the worldwide COVID-19 situation has become more stable.
Women entrepreneurs are far more capable of managing a company's capital compared to men, a lack of skill that is the reason for the downfall of over 50% of companies in Sri Lanka. These were the remarks of business tycoons of various fields who joined in Women in Management's Top 50's 4th annual conference earlier this week.
Women in Management's Top 50's 4th annual conference, titled Empowering Women for a Resilient Future, was worked off earlier this week. Business leaders, both men and women across various sectors, came together to express views on business and financial strategies, diversity and inclusion, social media, women who run the economy, and new generation leadership. Meanwhile, addressing the conference on women empowerment, chairperson of the Women in Management, Dr. Sulochana Sigera, addressed the gathering, saying that people need to be more focused on the haves instead of the have-nots.
Success is not everything. Success people may not be happy, but happy people are always successful. When you chase success, don't lose the happiness. When you hit the rock bottom in your life, be there for a while. Failures are okay. If you fail only, you see the opportunity, the door that opens a new way of life. There are so much of opportunities in life.
In addition, business tycoons of various industries touched on the importance of inclusion and diversification and on what the focus of women entrepreneurs should be.
Everybody must be included. We must have diverse opinions, diverse people working in organization, opportunities for people, men, women treated equally. So these things no longer should be buzzwords in my mind in a few more years. It's important now.
Easily over 50% of the Sri Lankan businesses fail within the first 5 years. Every one of them, after a while, you forget the difference between your capital and your actual profit part of it. So if you want to grow fast, you need to preserve your capital. In a very Sri Lankan context, when we deal with women entrepreneurs, we can harness this potential of creativity. I think we don't see that. If we encourage them to get involved in more activities where creativity plays a role, I think there women entrepreneurs can do better.
Our final episode of the Budget Expectation segment on the cusp of tomorrow's budget speech in Parliament focuses on all important taxes tonight. Senior partner of tax consulting firm Gajma & Co. N.R. Gajendran offered a list of what the government should and should not do tomorrow in terms of hikes and new taxes. Gajendran believes that the government must consider capacity to pay as the core of its approach tomorrow and focus only on sectors that won't hurt much.
With the eagerly awaited budget speech set to be tabled tomorrow in Parliament, corporate and public focus remains on what changes may be in store for the country's taxes. With less than 24 hours remaining for the budget to be announced, senior partner of tax consultancy firm Gajma & Company, N.R. Gajendran believes that the government should focus on raising taxation for firms that have enjoyed generous profits and who have the capacity to pay.
Raising of tax has to be fair and just, and there should be the least possible hardship to be to the public at large, especially the low-rung people, the less privileged. So you have to follow the principle of capacity to pay. So the people who have higher capacity to pay has to be from whom the revenue has to be raised more. Even though business activities are sluggish in the year 21, it may improve, but there again, there are certain larger businesses for various reasons, because SMEs are also being shunned away because of COVID and other challenges. They are unable to sustain itself. So the larger businesses have got larger, and you can see the way the reports been published in the newspaper. Some of the large companies are making billions of profits. The government should be conscious and smart enough to target those huge profits. It's not to penalize them, at least in the short term, have an extra tax profit on the bottom line, not on the top line, that is on the profits, so that they can look for the adequate revenue without imposing conditions on the less privileged people. There have been reports saying they are looking into capital taxes like wealth tax, which of course has to be seriously considered whether it should be introduced. In my personal view, you mustn't never impose taxes on capital because it is a disincentive for savings and investment. If the budget cannot be bridged, then definitely you go for borrowings. And now that the government has decided not to go for foreign borrowings, it has to be local borrowings, and in that endeavor, then the printing of money also will be put into question. I believe in the recent past, the excessive printing has been curbed by the central bank. Otherwise, this monetary money theory is also has been questioned by many analysts. So it is an expectation that it will be daunting on the finance minister and he is in an unenviable position because of so many factors, which is led by COVID, and of course other crippling consequential factors also has to be dealt with in this budget.
We'll return after this short commercial break. Don't go away. In business news, the rupee remains unchanged at 202 rupees and 99 cents against the US dollar today. With that, let's have a look at how the rupee traded against other major currencies during the day. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining. I'm Shanella Fernando. Have a good night.